In this video, I want to talk to you about how you can start your own photography side hustle and how you can get clients. I'm going to cover a couple very important things, from how to find and attract clients to how to set up a portfolio to ultimately how to make money. So the very first thing that you should know, and one thing that I would stress to you and explain to you, is that you need to start with what you have or what you can get. I feel like most people, when they're trying to jump into any business, they want to skip steps, and you can't do that. You know, when you're starting something, especially like photography, where it's insanely expensive, if you have the budget and if you have the money to go out and buy a not even a $300 camera, because $300 cameras are ass. This is a $300 camera, and this is what I started with. But you know, if you have the money to go out and buy a $3,000, $4,000 camera, $1,000 camera, whatever, you know, your budget would allow, go ahead and go do that. But I wouldn't recommend that you do that anyway, even if you could do it. What I would recommend that you do is find a very budget friendly camera, like something like this, where, like I said, I paid $350 for this camera, and I've made so much money with this camera right here. The camera fucking sucks, but I made so much money with it. And I'm happy that I started with something like this. Number one, I couldn't afford anything else. This is the only thing that I could afford. I'm glad I started with this because it taught me a lot about photography. It taught me a lot about how to go out and shoot, the different kind of settings that I need to use, and really everything else in between. Having a camera like this also taught me, like, this is really not a good camera at all. I mean, it's good for what I needed it for and what I used it for. And I was actually doing a lot of different stuff that people couldn't do with their $1,000 camera. I was doing it with this. Like, look at some of the shots that I was doing in my earlier stages of photography with this camera right here. And this lens right here is a 50mm lens. I was doing all of these shots that you see on the screen right here with this setup. This is a Canon T3i. The lens that's on it right now is an 18 to 55mm. And then what I was really using, honestly, this was my bread and butter for the longest time, was the 50mm. I think this is a 1.8 lens. But going back to what I was about to say, I'm really glad that I started with this stuff, and I learned that it doesn't necessarily matter what kind of gear that you're working with. It matters the information that you have, how you're operating, what you're doing. A lot of people, like I said, they spent so much money on equipment, and they couldn't do half the stuff that I was able to do. And people were calling me saying, hey, can you come shoot this basketball game? Hey, can you come do my school's media day? Hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Because of what I knew and how I was operating with what I had. Being so limited to quality and really what I could do really taught me that if you can't do one thing with the camera, like let's say if the quality is lacking, then you can pick up in another area. And that's where I really started getting into the whole retouching and editing and really honing all of my attention and energy there, because I knew that I couldn't take great photos, you know, that were sharp, that would come out with really good color and this and that, you know what I mean? I couldn't get those kind of photos that you see other people posting on Instagram. I just couldn't do it. So I knew that if I improved with my editing, if I learned Photoshop in and out, really started putting all of my energy and attention into other areas, then it's gonna really pick up here, you know what I mean? So I want to explain to you that in the earlier stages of your photography business, side hustle, whether you plan on taking it full time or if you're doing it just part time, I would say invest in a low budget camera. Like, if you can spend anywhere from $200 to $400 on a camera, then go buy that camera. It may not be the greatest of quality, but it's going to teach you how to shoot, how to go out there, how to, you know, do the settings, whatnot. And then what I would really recommend that you start doing, and a lot of photographers lack in this area, I'm telling you, you are going to surpass like 60-70% of people, photographers, just by learning how to edit, bro. If you know how to edit, if you know how to slim up a girl's waist, if you know how to clear blemishes the right way without sacrificing quality, if you know how to, bro, I'm telling you, the amount of fucking money you're gonna make is crazy. Because if you really think about it, photography is really only like 20, not even 20, I would say like 30-40% taking the picture. And then the other half, like the other 40, 60, 70%, is editing, like literally. Well, I wouldn't say that. I would say like 30-40% is like shooting, because you have to have like good quality equipment. The quality of the camera and all that good stuff has to be there, and then another large percentage goes into lighting and stuff like that, and then the other half, a large portion, goes into like editing. But like editing is a really big part of the entire process, and I feel like a lot of people put so much energy, money, and attention into the camera, the equipment that they got. They put all this money into the studio, whatever they're doing, and they don't spend as much time learning the skill of retouching, of editing, which is like the biggest part of photography. Spending all that money on a camera is gonna take you so much longer to recoup that investment anyway. Like if you spend $3,000-$4,000 on a camera, or however much money that you're gonna spend on a camera, getting into the business in the first place, the goal is to make money. So if you could spend a little less and just stack that bread up, you get to pay for your bills, you get to do whatever extra shit you're going to do with your money, and then you can save up a little bit more to invest in a new camera, rather than dropping a $4,000 bag on a camera and you have to, like, you know what I mean? You really got to make that bag. Like, bro, nah, that's stupid. Go low. Buy something lower, more affordable. It may not be the best of quality, but it's going to teach you a lot, and you can make even more money, and you can save more money that way. And guys, I don't know how this microphone sounds. Please forgive me if it's like muffled or whatever. I don't know. I haven't used this microphone in forever, but I had the DJI's, which is a $250 microphone that I remember buying it for like $250. That microphone, I think I lost it in an Uber or something. So I don't know, bro. This is what I got. Bear with me. But point number 2 that I got right here is how to actually get your first paying client. This is something that we all look forward to. This is something that we get excited about. When people first jump into the game, you want to start charging people. You want to start finally making money. And unfortunately, like, I hate to break it down to you like this, bro, but you're going to have to go a little longer without making no money. The reality of jumping into any business is that you want to start getting paid, but nobody trusts you. Nobody knows you. Nobody, believe in you, right? And that's just the reality of it. Getting into any business, you have to build something that people are going to look at and say like, oh, wow, you know what I mean? Like, I can go to this person. I can trust this person. I can spend my money with this person. And not just because he's a beginner or, this and that, but just because you're good at what the fuck you do. So what I would recommend that you do to get your first paying client is to go to your family members, go to local businesses, go to your friends, go to your girlfriend, go to your boyfriend, whoever it is that you can get your hands on, whoever, and just ask them like, hey, do you want to do a photo shoot for free? Shoot for free for the first many times and build a solid portfolio. Take advantage of social media. Post all of your stuff to social media. Post on your stories stuff that you're doing. Like, keep people updated. Like, and one of the biggest things that I think kept me stagnant for a while in my very beginning stages of photography was because when people see that you're doing something, they don't really take it serious in the beginning. They're like, oh, it's just a phase. Let me like his shit. Let me support him. You know what I mean? But like, a lot of people are really just looking at it like it's a phase. You know what I mean? They're not taking it serious. And if you're not consistent and if you're not showing up really like going crazy, no one's gonna believe in you or really understand what the fuck it is that you're trying to do. You gotta prove to yourself and show other people that you're really taking it serious and that you're really trying to make it a business. Post on your story, post on Reels, make static posts on Instagram, post your work, talk about what you're doing, talk about the deals that you got going on, talk about what you're planning to do. Like, you don't gotta throw out all your plans, but just make it aware that you're not just doing this as no hobby. It's not just a game. You know what I mean? This is something that you're really trying to take serious and that you're really trying to become a professional in. I would also say it's very important to find a niche. In the very beginning, like if you're just getting into photography and you want to find clients, one thing that you're gonna have to realize later on, I would say in the very beginning, shoot everything. Go, like, it doesn't matter what it is. Do Valentine's Day deals, do photo shoots, do Christmas photo shoots, do birthdays, do events, do high school media days, do newborn baby photography, do product photo shoot, do corporate headshots, do everything. But when you realize, or when you get further into the game, or when you grow further and you want to land those consistent clients, you got to realize that people are going to pay more money, and they're going to come to you more if they understand exactly who it is that you are and what you're about. This was something that I made the mistake on early, or I was doing this in the beginning, like I was shooting everything, but I didn't get out of that stage for a very long time until I realized, like, oh, people are looking at my page and they're seeing a bunch of everything compared to one specific thing. So it's like, if I go to somebody's page, and I'm just breaking this down to give you all an example. When you have a store like Nike, right? Nike is known for sportswear, for fashion, right? If they posted anything outside of sportswear or fashion, people are going to get confused. Customers know that when they come to Nike, they're either looking for fashion or sportswear, right? Shoes, jackets, whatever. Let's say if Nike starts selling lip gloss and beauty cosmetics or whatever, right? That's kind of confusing, because we come to you for a specific thing. I don't know if that's the best example, but to give you another example, my brand. When I started my business, my photography business, I was shooting everything. People would come to my page and they would see Valentine's Day photo shoots, they would see birthday photo shoots, they would see corporate headshots, they would see product, they would see a newborn photo shoot. So what is it really that I'm doing here? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it took me a very long time to get out of that stage. And I don't want you to do that same thing too, because that's gonna slow up a lot of your fucking money. People are gonna pay you more money when they understand that you understand ins and outs of a certain industry. You know what you're doing. You show up as a professional. You know everything about this niche, right? People are gonna pay more money for you to help them with their problem. You don't want to be known as an everything photographer for anybody to come to you about anything. I don't personally even want that. I've been doing photography now for 3 years almost now. I don't want to be known as an everything photographer. Yes, every now and then I will still go and do a birthday photo shoot. Like, hell, I still have, I got, Christmas is coming up. It's December 5th. Christmas is coming up soon, and somebody reached out to me about doing their couples photos. I was still, happily go and do that photo shoot, but I'm not gonna post it or let everybody know that I'm doing a, couples birthday shoot. That's not what I want to be known as. I don't want to be known as an everything photographer. Now that that's out of the way, I feel like y'all understand and get the point. The next thing I want to stress and explain to you is that marketing versus promotion are two very completely different things, and a lot of people get them mixed up. Marketing is putting your product or putting your service out there saying, hey, here's my thing. I hope that you like it. That's going to get likes, it's going to get views, it's going to get impressions, it's going to get maybe feedback. But it's not going to get you paid. Marketing is different. Marketing is where you put your product and services out there for people who need it. They're going to see it, and it's going to resonate with them, and they're going to purchase it. And you got to do that strategically. You can't just put your stuff out there and throw it out there saying, hey, look at my thing. I did this photo shoot. Like, comment, follow. Bro, you're not getting paid by this strategy. And this is unfortunately what a lot of photographers are doing. When you market, you speak directly to the person that you're talking to or that you want to buy from you, and you're helping them solve their issue or their problem. So if you want to cut through all the bullshit and you want to get ahead of 80% of beginners, understand marketing. Don't just put your stuff on social media and just throw it out there just because you feel like you're doing something. Because 9 times out of 10, you're not. You got to throw your stuff out there and you got to put it out there with intention. You got to make sure that there's good marketing and a good message behind everything that you're doing. You got to make sure that, like, when you put your stuff out there on social media, you got to ask yourself, Who do I want to see this? What do I want them to do after they see it? Don't just put your stuff out there saying, photo shoot downtown, like, follow, subscribe. You use a couple hashtags. A lot of people don't even use that. Hashtags are, hashtags are iffy. You know what I mean? I would say they're important, but at the same time, because the algorithm changed. But that's a completely different conversation. Put time, attention, and intention behind what you're doing on social media, and I guarantee you will have clients coming and knocking at the door. Number 3 I got right here on the list is make it easy for clients to say yes. Okay, now this goes a lot into like the last point a little bit, of posting your stuff on social media. You got to have good credibility, right? Post your stuff on social media, let people know what you're about. You don't want to make yourself known as an everything person. If you want to stick to strictly shooting birthday shoots, or if you want to do lingerie photo shoots, boudoir, I think that's how it's called. If you want to do product photography, whatever it is that you're doing, is going to make it a lot easier for you to go to a person and say, hey, my name is whatever your name is. I do headshot photography. I would like to know if you would want to do a photo shoot completely. Well, I wouldn't even say completely for free. You can charge whatever you're going to charge for at this point, because now you've set all of these different things up, and people are going to look at it and be like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you done got your foot in the door, and now you can charge for your shit now. Build a solid website. There's a couple really solid websites out there. Like, I think Square is one of them, but I would recommend for everybody to use Pixieset. Pixieset is hands down one of the best platforms that I've came across. And the reason why is because not only does it have a website integration, it has a client gallery integration, but it also has a studio manager integration. And how the studio manager works is you can go in there and you can set up invoices and you can send them straight to the client. You can send them the gallery through that. You can, set up your website. You can put all your stuff on the website. It's a one-stop shop for absolutely everything. I'm talking about fucking Pixieset like they paying me. I'm not even getting paid by Pixieset to talk about them like this. I'm explaining this to you because Pixieset is hands down the best platform I've ever came across. And it has changed everything for me. One of the things that I did on my website was, on the first page, I put a little bit of information about me, what it is that I do, what I'm about, so that when people come to me, they know who they're speaking to. I want people to come to my website, not only see my work, because that's one of the biggest things about being somebody who sells anything. If people don't know you, people don't like you, they ain't buying shit from you. Everybody's selling the same stuff. Everybody's a photographer. Everybody's a social media marketer. Everybody's a hairstylist. Everybody's a nail tech. If people don't like you, they're not buying from you. I didn't make a message too long. I just put up there what it is that I do, what I'm about, why I do what I do, and that's it. And then under it, I put in a couple of my favorite shots, and then below that, I put some testimonials, which is very important. I think that you should do it. Every person that you come across, every person that you work with, just ask them, hey, after the photo shoot, I would love to get a quick message from you, whether it's by recording or whether you just be more comfortable just sending a short message, just something that I could throw on my website so other people can see it and know what I'm about. And this is going to allow for other potential clients who plan on coming your way to drop their shoulders a little bit. You know what I mean? People want to know how other people have experienced you, what other people felt, what other people thought. You know what I mean? And by having a couple short messages, even a video, showing of others that have already worked with you talk about that experience, is going to make it much more easier for these new potential clients.